It's a very exposing art form.
Yeah.
There is nowhere to hide. The lowest I probably ever got was when I had my second surgery.
Has there ever been a moment where the physical or psychological toll has made you seriously consider quitting ballet?
I think the biggest ones were just like, am I physically going to be able to do this again?
So to put it bluntly, what do professional dancers actually get paid?
I've heard from different dancers in like America and stuff, or even some of the European companies aren't necessarily getting paid enough to even live.
Actor Timothée Chalamet sparked a massive debate online when he commented that no one cares about ballet and opera anymore. What was your immediate take when you saw this being headlined?
People want a 3-second reel, not a 3-hour ballet.
Yeah.
So I also think it's important for young girls who are thinking of coming into the industry to know, like, this is really a hard job to do and maintain. Yeah. We actually probably need to eat more than the average person to be able to get through. Yeah. Hey guys, if you're new around here, my name is Hannah Martin, and today I'm joined by the beautiful Ariana Allen. She is a former professional dancer here at the Birmingham Royal Ballet, and we're just going to sit down and have a real conversation about the ballet industry, about the ballet world. I know that it can look like glitter and glam, but we really want to take this opportunity to talk about the ins and outs of working in the industry, that, you know, if you're looking to become a professional dancer, what the day in, day out life actually looks like. So I really hope that you enjoy.
Thanks, Hannah. It is so great to be sat here with you today. For anyone who's new to your channel or maybe doesn't know your full story, you are a former national champion in rhythmic gymnastics and currently a professional dancer with Birmingham Royal Ballet. But you're also an online content creator and entrepreneur. Back in 2018, you started a YouTube channel, which has now progressed into this incredible online brand and business. And since then, you've been documenting much of your journey online. You've spoken a lot about the distinct challenges you faced and have been admiringly very open about it all. So firstly, I just want to say a huge well done and congratulations for all your incredible work, both on and off stage.
Thank you so much. And I know that we've walked through things together when we were both working here. So
yeah,
you know what it's like.
I do.
You have had a taste of it. So yeah, it's been a real privilege to walk some of this with you.
Thank you, Hannah. Likewise. Now, Hannah, there really is a lot that remains unknown to the general public about the ballet industry, especially what it's genuinely like behind the scenes. You know, on the one hand, audiences are presented with this incredibly glamorous and effortless ideal, which really isn't giving the craft enough credit, you know, as we've seen earlier this year with the Timothée Chalamet situation, more on that later. But on the other hand, you know, there's this notion that it requires a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to achieve your dreams. And, you know, you have films such as Black Swan, which really casts a disturbing light on the industry. We see this volatility play out even at the highest levels. I mean, look at the recent shockwaves sent through the community with the very abrupt departure of principal dancer Julian McKay from Bayerisch Staatsballett in Munich. So with that in mind, Hannah, what is the truth?
Yeah.
What does nobody actually tell you about the ballet industry and about becoming a professional dancer? And not only becoming a professional dancer, but maintaining a successful career as one.
Yeah, wow, I think you touched on a lot of points there. And I think first and foremost, you do get these films, you get like Black Swan, I even like to kind of bring up like the Barbie movies, like you have like the two sides of like one side is really showing the glitter, the glam. It's like waking up and it's like, oh, I get to put on a tutu every day, and it's like, sunshine and rainbows. And then you get the other side, which is very dark and very toxic. Now, I always think there's elements of truth in both, because they wouldn't be there if there wasn't elements of truth.
Yeah.
But I also think things can be exaggerated, things can be taken out of proportion. So they've both of these different concepts have kind of taken elements of what's actually happening in the ballet industry, but taken them to extremes to make it entertaining, to make it enthralling. So first and foremost, when those are coming out on the media, I'm like, it wouldn't be there if there wasn't elements of truth in both.
Yeah.
So that to say, it's, you know, some of the things in Black Swan are quite extreme. I had to, I'm not a horror gal movie.
No,
I don't really watch horror
neither.
movies, not really my thing, but I had to watch it for my dissertation. And I did watch Black Swan, and the first half of the movie I was like, oh, okay, there's some interesting concepts here. And then the second half I was like, okay, I need to fast forward. Anyhow, that being said, I think the day in, day out that isn't exposed so much in the ballet industry is just actually how tired you get and how exhausted you get, and the level of standard that's expected day in, day out, even when you're not feeling good, even when you don't feel like doing it. When you see it on stage, it's just like, oh, these ethereal beings. It's like effortless. It's like pillows of marshmallow fluff every day. And that's what we're trying to bring across. But the reality is sometimes you wake up and sometimes you don't want to be putting on a leotard. Sometimes you don't want to be, it's very exposing. Ballet is I don't want to, okay, I hate it when people say, oh, ballet is the hardest art form, blah, blah, blah. But like, it's a very exposing art form. There is nowhere to hide. And so when you feel like you're putting yourself out there, even in front of your colleagues, you can feel very vulnerable within it. And I think that is something that is not spoken about enough, of like how vulnerable you can feel within the art form. And I feel like part of what I want to do through my channel, what I want to do through my message, is to like empower people, to make them feel seen, make them not feel as vulnerable within, like, man, I'm tired and I don't want to get up and do ballet class today. Like, that's the reality. And in my vlogs I try and show that, instead of just being like, oh, I'm motivated all the time and nothing's ever hard. And
of course,
like the day in, day out, it's grueling, it's hard. But on the flip side, as I said, the Barbie side, it's like sometimes you have those moments and you feel like you're just flying, and it's like you do all of the hard work, you get through all the grueling days to have those like moments of magic, and there is moments of magic in it, and that's what you work for. But sometimes you do have to weigh up of like, is how much I'm putting in, how much I'm having to push through, worth those few moments of just like feeling like you're going to touch like a little bit of heaven. That's how I sometimes see it. And so I guess that's like an individual journey for every dancer.
Lovely. You put it really beautifully, Hannah, and I'm with you on the Black Swan, because myself, I also don't do horror, I can't do jump scares, but I think I got about halfway through a few years ago and I was like, oh, no, this is like a nightmarish version of, you know, some of the challenges we might go through. I mean, no, but a very, very nightmarish version. Yeah. And because it's quite close to home, it's like, oh, no. I
feel like it's almost, it goes a little bit too far, because they bring elements of truth, but then just completely kind of take it almost out of context. It's like, oh, you had a little bit of like reality there, and then you just took it right out of reality.
Absolutely.
But it is an artistic film, so like I don't want to hate on an artistic film, but it's definitely, if that's people's only perception of the ballet world, then I think there's no balance to how it comes across. And I think a lot of people watch that film and be like, oh, that can't be ballet because that's like, it's too much, you know. And I would prefer them to kind of bring a more balanced version of what it could look like.
No, absolutely. It is indeed what we are trying to do. Looking back on your own journey, what would you say has been the absolute hardest moment of your career so far?
Yeah, there has been quite a few. I would say like the lowest I probably ever got was when I had my second surgery. I had just felt like I kind of got over the bridge of the first one, so I had an os trigonum, like an extra bit of bone at the back of my ankle, and I realised I had it in both ankles. I had it done on the first one, kind of was okay on the second one for a few years, and then the other one went. I had surgery, I tried to get back probably too quickly, and then the ankle just reacted really badly to the rehab. Was meant to be back in 3 months, and I found myself 8 months later, still stiffness, still in pain now walking, which I wasn't even quite in pain walking before the surgery. So I was like, wow, am I ever going to dance again? And I guess in some ways it made me forced me to look at life outside of ballet for the first time, life outside of rhythmic gymnastics, life, like, who is Hannah outside of all these things? And I think that is actually a really important journey for every dancer to go through, because if they do go through an injury, or if they do have a moment of like, oh, I don't know if I want to dance anymore, it's so scary, because it's like, I don't know myself outside of this art form. finding your identity outside the art form is like imperative, because it enhances your art as well, but it also gives you a breather, because otherwise you stay in this world. It can be so all-consuming, and then it starts to have real effects on your mental and physical health. So I think that is something I encourage all dancers to do if you have a chance, even a few hours a week, to explore, okay, what do I actually like doing outside of the studio? Who is insert name outside of the studio? It helps in your relationships. Like if you meet people outside the ballet world, I used to find it so hard to connect with people outside of my bubble, because I'm like, they just don't understand me, because I just want to be in the studio all day. Like, what normal person's going to get that? And then when I started developing relationships outside the studio, I was like, wow, like my eyes are opened. I'm getting so many more different perspectives which I can bring back into the studio, and I can experience different emotions. And that's something I just really, really encourage any individual to do. Just find who they are outside the studio. But that being said, it was the hardest time of my career, because dance up to that point had been I call it 9 to 5. No, it was like my 12 to 12. Like it was my everything. So it hit some really, really low points. And not just once I got back dancing, it was also when you get back dancing and you can't quite dance the same you did before. It's like so devastating, because you've been on this huge journey. It should be so exciting that you're back on stage, but you actually just feel grief, because you're like, I feel like I've backtracked, and I've literally worked every waking hour to get back, but I'm not as good as I was before. How unfair is this? And I think that also took quite a lot of kind of going through the motions with, and you just have to keep extending yourself grace. It's a really good training exercise mentally. So it's just like, you know what, these things have been outside of my control. There's nothing I could have done. The fact that I had an extra bone, I had an extra bone. Life is 90%, 10% what happens to you, and 90% how you react to it. So
Absolutely.
I think that was like, I'm okay. How do I react to the situation? How do I come out better? How can I develop something? Like throughout my injury time, I was able to develop my whole online academy. How do I develop something that like lives beyond this moment that I'm going through? So even out of the toughest moments, you can actually create something. Like, I can't believe like I have a whole academy out of what was probably the hardest months of my life. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that, Hannah. I mean, that is incredible. Your story, your challenges, and the way that you've dealt with that and have come back, and the advice you're able to extend from that is invaluable. And you're spot on when you say that it's so crucial to have an identity and know your self-worth outside of the studio.
Yeah.
Because as you say, you are in the studio from first thing in the morning, last thing at night, especially if performances are looming or it is performance season and you are just, all you're doing is ballet. It's so crucial that you understand your self-worth outside of that, because that is what's going to anchor you in tough moments.
Yeah.
And it's what's going to help you retain your confidence when you're having a rough day, because it's so over-consuming. You need to be able to take yourself outside of that ballet bubble. On that note, with regards to injuries, our bodies are our currency. They are our instruments, they are our livelihoods as dancers. And it's, of course, as you've described, an extremely difficult, and it can even be a devastating situation when you're told, we don't know when you're going to come back. You think it's going to be 3 months and it's 8 months, and you just simply don't know if you'll ever dance again. Has there ever been a moment where the physical or psychological toll has made you seriously consider quitting ballet?
100%, yeah. There's been quite a few times where I think the biggest ones were just like, am I physically going to be able to do this again? Because my ankle was so stiff. I was like, I don't know if this is ever going to go back on point again. And because I then got diagnosed with chronic regional pain syndrome, where I didn't really fully understand what is this. There wasn't really a rehab plan. That it made it very challenging to be like, okay, is this the end of the road? Have I been through, a decade of this transition into ballet for, I don't want to say for nothing, because I've experienced a lot and I've been so grateful for all I've already done in my career. But just like, I remember saying to myself, like, this can't be the end. Like, this can't be the end. And as I said, even getting back to dancing, even when I was able to dance again, being like, oh, well, if I'm not as good as I was before, is there any point like, do I want to dance this way? And I think it's in those, again, extending yourself grace, learning that the emotion you're feeling right now isn't forever. And that is something I'm actually having to tell myself now a lot too, is like, sometimes as dancers, to get through the day, we decide to shut off our emotions and be like, I'm just not going to feel it. I'm just going to chuck it out the window. I'm not going to feel it. Those emotions then pent up, and then you're going to feel it at some point, and it's going to be a lot worse.
Yes.
So I think this season, something I'm trying to acknowledge more is like, okay, there's an emotion coming. I'm going to take it away. I'm going to feel it, but it will pass. Just like a tidal wave, it will just like wash over you. So I think for so long and for so many years, I've just pushed, like, I'm tired, I'm not going to think about it. I'm really, really tired, not going to think about it. I'm sad, not going to think about it. I'm frustrated, not going to think about it. And you just suppress until eventually it takes tolls on your mental and emotional health. So something I'm trying to do this season is when those emotions come, and sometimes it's like, I just want to quit. And I'm like, no, I can't think about that. I don't want to think about that. Actually bringing it to the forefront and being like, okay, I'm going to sit with this for a second. I'm going to feel this emotion for a minute. And then eventually, if you just breathe through it, sometimes it passes. If it stays, then maybe it's something you need to pay attention to. Maybe it's something that you need to like think, actually, okay, this emotion keeps coming back.
Yes.
There's a reason. I always think our feelings shouldn't like be driving the steering wheel, but they should be little indicators of where we should go. So it's not like, I feel this emotion, okay, let's like do a 180 and like completely turn the life around. It's like, okay, this indication keeps telling me I need to go this way. I'm just going to keep my hands on the wheel. I'm just going to think about it for a bit. But if those indicators keep coming, your emotions are there to tell you something.
They are.
And the more you don't listen, eventually, like, the car's probably going to crash. So we gotta listen to the emotions, but not let them completely control us. And so that is something I'm trying to learn to do more, and acknowledge the emotion and realize it's there for a reason, and learning which ones to listen to and which ones just to like breathe through.
Let them be.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's a lot of self-trust involved.
Yeah.
And learning to trust your body because it has an innate wisdom and it knows what it needs. And what we do as dancers is not normal. Yeah. We push our bodies to the absolute limits. We push ourselves physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, you name it, to the absolute limits. And it's really important to check in with yourself regularly. And as you say, if you're feeling something, whether that be physical, emotional, to sit with it and acknowledge it. And we're always told, you know, our Joe Centre here always tells us, you know, it's so important to address any little niggles straight away.
Just like we address the physical stuff,
absolutely,
like the injuries, we also have to address the mental. It's the same.
It's
like
the same thing.
We should approach the mental side just like the physical side. This is something I stress so much in my academy, because I really do believe a lot of how to achieve success in life is psychological.
It's all mental.
Yeah.
It is.
If you can conquer here, you can conquer the rest. So
absolutely,
as dancers, we listen to our bodies a lot, but we rarely listen to ourselves mentally, because we have to push through so much. And like, you're tired, you've got a double shoulder this one leg, you're doing it whether you like it or not, and you do have to kind of fight with that, like, I'm just tired, I want to sit in bed all day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we still get that. I feel like they think, oh, you're dancers, you've always got energy. I'm like, no, we don't. We're like, most of us are walking a little bit around like zombies. But
especially on that last double show day of the week, you know, you're getting to week 5, week 6, and it's you've pushed through the week on tour. I've got, on this last day, the last 2 shows, right, we really got to dig deep to find the strength to get through it.
Exactly. But I think in those moments, it's like, you do have to kind of put your emotions aside for a second.
Yes.
Like in any job, like any job that you do. But then actually putting pockets of time away to be like, okay, but Sunday's my day off. I'm going to take time just to think about how I felt in that moment. Acknowledge that moment, reflect, because so often I think we just keep going. And last season, I was so busy, I was doing so much that I didn't actually I didn't allow myself any time to reflect on any emotions that were kind of happening.
To take care of yourself.
So I think that is something I want to do. I'm really determined this season to kind of prioritize my health, and that is something that I'm trying to implement. Of like, okay, we can't deal with this emotion right now, but I promise my emotions, okay, I'm going to give you time to like speak. just a bit later. When I have my downtime, I'm, you know, reading my Bible or I'm praying, I'm like, okay, I bring this emotion back to the forefront and process it.
Like you say, for any job, you need to be professional in the moment.
Yeah.
But because, you know, this job is so time, energy, everything consuming, it's very easy to brush everything under the rug and be like, I'll come back to it later, or maybe not even, just, you know, we got to put the blinkers on, we got to, you know, and keep going.
Yeah.
So it's really incredible that you say, this season, I'm going to prioritize this on a Sunday when I'm reading my Bible, when I'm, you know, centering and I'm having some downtime, really taking that time to reflect. And you know, it's all self-care, and self-care is so important. As a dancer, your health, if there is, and I always say, if there is no health, if there is no self-care, and if you're not kind to yourself, this profession is going to be extremely hard. And it's very easy to not be kind to yourself, isn't it?
So easy. And I also think something I'm reflecting on is like, if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of the people around you either.
Yes.
And ultimately, I'm starting to realise more and more, like, the people around you are really what matter. Like, I know it sounds so cliche, but as you get older, it gets more and more true of like, there's no matter how much success you achieve, there's no matter how much you climb the ladder, let's say, if you've got no one to enjoy, if you get to the top of the ladder and you've got no one around to enjoy it with you, it's not fun. No. Like, it's about the people you take on the journey with you.
Yes.
So that is something I'm like, wow, like the relationships around me with my friends and my family, that's like also super important. And I never want, my career is important, but that's got to come, it's got to be a balance. Balance is really hard in ballet. Balance is really hard to find.
It is.
But,
it is.
Yeah. No.
And those social connections are imperative.
Yeah.
What is life without the people we love, the people around us? Even if you say, you know, cliche. But, you know, in such, I don't want to say taxing in a negative way, but a profession that really demands everything from you, it can be very easy, you know, at the end of a day or a week, you'd be like, right, I need my alone time, especially as you spend all your time with people. But, you know, whether that's your colleagues or, you know, your friends and family, nurturing those connections will really, really benefit you. It just fills your cup, you know, spending time with people you love, it fills your cup, and it actually re-energizes you more than in my opinion, than staying in bed all day alone.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like in the ballet world, you can get quite isolated because you have to be so focused. But I think what I'm learning is that I can allow people into that. Like I have friends at church and stuff, allowing them into my world. And like, it doesn't mean I'm less focused. It just means I'm having a better time. Like that's all. Yeah. It's like allowing them in, allowing them to have like a scoop. And like even on my YouTube channel, allowing people in to like see the real me, you know?
And I mean, you and I have an incredible friendship, and ballet's brought us together.
We still have lunch, like, because you still work here, so
yes,
we still have lunches and we catch up about old times, new times, future times. Yeah.
And that's invaluable. And when you have that, it just makes the whole experience so worth it.
I know that some of our conversations have been having like hard days at the company, and then we just have a conversation about it, and it's like, oh, actually, it's really not as bad as I thought. Like, it can get so convoluted in your head. It's like, this thing is like really weighing on me, and then you just speak to someone, you're like, oh, it's just ballet, it's okay. Like,
speaking to someone you trust, it offers you perhaps a healthier and better perspective, and it also just allows you to, you know, let off some steam. Whether that's talking to someone you trust or writing it down, I think having that outlet
like
and
processing the emotions with someone.
Exactly.
Because sometimes when we process them on our own,
they
can be irrational. They can be completely irrational. So sometimes it's good to like get them out with a friend, and the friend can be like, let's rethink this just a second, okay? Yeah.
We've had a few of those
conversations,
Amazing. We've discussed your injury, we've discussed the importance of health and well-being. Going back a little bit to considering quitting ballet, there is obviously the physical and emotional toll, but there are also factors that play into the mix, specifically financial security. There's a misconception that elite art equals elite pay. So to put it bluntly, what do professional dancers actually get paid? Or how does that compensation weigh up against a grueling daily rehearsal or performance schedule?
Yeah, so I think being part of Birmingham Royal Ballet, I'm in a very privileged position. We have pretty good, solid contracts. I think around the world, that very much varies. I've heard from different dancers in like America and stuff, or even some of the European companies aren't necessarily getting paid enough to even live. And so they're working second jobs. Some contracts are only fixed term and short. So people are looking for, they're only employed 9 months of the year. So they've got to try and work for the other 3 months.
Yeah.
So I think this question is very broad. Like it could be, many dancers are in many different situations. So if you see a dancer on social media, it doesn't mean that they're getting paid the same as another one. It depends on the company, it depends on the situation, it depends on the contract. So that's the first and foremost thing, is like, there's no like, it's not like a normal job, like where it's like, okay, you're a banker, you get this much, pay. Not that I know that much about how much bankers get paid, but that just popped into my head. But I think what I really want to say is that, dance is not just a job. If you're a professional ballet dancer, it is a lifestyle. It's not like I do my 9 to 5 and I go home and then I don't think about it anymore. And it's like I go out with my friends and I can have just like I don't want to say a normal life. I don't think anyone's got a normal life. I think everyone's unique and beautiful and different. But let's just call it normal life for now. I go home and I'm thinking, how do I recover for the next day? Do I need to go over any choreography for the next day? How do I fuel myself? How do I make sure I'm getting enough sleep so that I'm going to wake up with enough energy for the following? It's like a 24/7 cycle, because your art is you. Like your body is literally your job. So you don't get a break from your body. Your body is who you are. And I think that's where it becomes your life and not just your job. And I think I'm trying to find a little bit more separation now, just as I prioritize my health more, just being like, no, there's got to be room for Hannah the person, not just Hannah the dancer. But in terms of like the compensation for that, like I would say, I'm very lucky to get a steady wage here. And then obviously I also got the entrepreneurial side where I've been developing my own business. And I do actually recommend that any dancer who's kind of has a little bit extra time on the side to kind of develop something on your own, so you have some ownership to something, and also something to step into, because like this career is not forever. You never know what injury could be around the corner. I don't want to be like, dark clouds, but like you just don't know. And so developing something on the side that you feel like you have ownership of, and you're like, this is mine. Like this is something like it's my little baby. It's like I like, that's how I feel about my YouTube channel and what I'm developing in my academy. Is like I'm just as passionate about that as I am about dance, and like getting to hold those two things together. One can be a little bit stressful, but it's like it brings me joy, and it also brings like more financial stability, because I know that I'm developing something that's uniquely my own. But all in all, I would say the amount we put in maybe does not reflect in the overall what we get paid. But I think you could probably say that about a lot of jobs. There's a lot of jobs where you can put in a lot and then not get as much in returns in terms of money. But this kind of art form, rarely does anyone go, you know what, I want to be rich. I'm going to be a dancer. Like, I don't think that's really that's not the general vibe of this art form. It's like,
no,
I'm going to be a dancer because I'm passionate about what I do.
Yeah.
And like, for me, when I went into dance, I'm like, I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing this because, and I feel like this is like, you have to be this way.
Yes,
I'm doing it because I'm passionate and I want to like give my all to something. And that's kind of the mentality you have to have. Otherwise you won't survive in the art form. Yeah.
No, you have to love it. Yeah. And absolutely, you don't come into this profession for the money because of just how much you need to give to it.
Yeah. And even all the money in the world, if you don't love it, you won't want to do it. No. Like, even if you are being paid like up here, it's too high of a price to pay with your body. Yes. That if you don't love it, it's not worth $100 million. Like that's how I see it. But maybe people will differ, but that's how I feel.
No, you're right. And to be honest, I think that this can be applied to a lot of jobs, if not most jobs, because we all ideally would love to be doing something that we're passionate about and we love, and it's not always the case. Yeah. But I find that the people that experience the richest life, not in terms of necessarily financially, but soulfully, they are the ones who are passionate and will willingly get up to go to their job and make a difference every day in whatever industry and capacity that means.
You can't put a price on happiness and fulfillment.
No.
You can't. Like, I think if you have a job that you feel happy and fulfilled in, it's worth pursuing it. Because you can have all the money in the world and still be the most miserable person on the planet.
You can.
Yeah.
Money doesn't buy happiness.
Yeah, I was literally reading this morning Stephen Bartlett's book, and he was saying this exact thing. He was like, I just got an evaluation for my business, which was 200 million.
Whoa.
And I felt more happiness when I found 13 pounds at the back of some like restaurant chairs when I was 12 years old than I did when I heard that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, like money really cannot buy you happiness.
No.
You have to do something that you're passionate about, that you feel is making a difference, that feeds your soul. Because obviously it's important to pay the bills. Let's not skirt around. Like, let's not beat around the bushes. You have to pay the bills. But after that, it's like, no, you want to be waking up with purpose every day. And if your job is not doing that for you, then that's when you need to start thinking, okay, how do I change my situation? I'm not a victim of this. I'm empowered to make my own decisions for my life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What else could I do to fulfill me?
Yeah. That doesn't necessarily mean stepping out of a job. Maybe it means
could be
picking
a hobby.
up a little bit on the side. Yeah, exactly.
A hobby or a side quest. You know, you've got your business. It's finding, you know, what will make you fulfilled in your life.
Yeah.
And you've got to decide, you know, if I need to stay in this job, how can I enrich it elsewhere?
That's exactly what we do in the academy, which we'll talk about later.
Yes, we will. Absolutely. So, Hannah, as we've established, it is really a level of dedication that doesn't get enough credit. And that lack of general understanding can lead to some major public misconceptions and even disrespect. As we've seen earlier this year, actor Timothée Chalamet sparked a massive debate online when he commented that no one cares about ballet and opera anymore. What was your immediate take when you saw this being headlined?
Yeah, so there was a lot on social media about this, and if I'm honest, my initial reaction was, okay, this actor's probably done about 20 different interviews in the last like however many days, and he probably wasn't really thinking what he was saying.
No.
Yeah, he was probably a little bit, I don't want to say caught off guard, but like he was just saying what popped into his head straight away. And yes, it was disrespectful to our art form, but also we all make mistakes. So first and foremost, I shouldn't let him off the hook, but I let him a little off the hook. Because I know sometimes when you're in those moments, and I know for me, like sometimes I'm making a YouTube video or something, I'm so exhausted and I just come out with something and I'm like, that's not actually what I think. Why did I even say that?
That wasn't what I was supposed to say.
That's not what I was supposed to say.
It was just an emotional, you know, in the moment, he slipped.
Yeah. And so like, luckily for me, like when I have those moments, I'm like, that's not actually what I meant, and I can edit them out.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Timothy did not have this this privilege. So I don't want to let him completely off the hook, but that's something my initial reaction was like, oh man, you messed up.
Yeah, of course. Because at the end of the day, he is media trained. And he should have been a little bit more careful, even if that's what he thought.
Yeah. Got a little bit more sleep, maybe said no to a few interviews. That's what,
absolutely.
But on the flip side, I think there is a little bit like the, you know, black swan analogy we were using at the beginning. There is an element of truth to what he's saying that, you know, I have seen a majority of our audience is the older generation, and we really need the younger generation to kind of keep showing interest in ballet, because it is such a traditional art form.
Yeah.
I know that I invited a load of friends from church, and most of them like between 20 and 25, and most of them never seen a ballet, never really knew what a ballet was. And it's like, wow, like in some ways, there is an element of truth that we do need new audiences to be coming to the ballet. We need that interest to be coming. And so I think that's what Timothy was trying to say, but he just said it in a way that was just a little bit flippant.
Absolutely.
So I think it is important that we like really encourage the younger generation to get involved in culture, get involved in coming to watch shows. I think the element of social media these days makes it, you know, people want a 3-second reel, not a 3-hour ballet. And that's
nicely put.
Yeah, that's the difference these days. But I feel if you come on the experience and you come on the journey of like what a 3-hour ballet is, it's a much deeper experience than what you get on social media. It's like it's almost like an investment in yourself. I know it sounds weird to come to a show as an investment in yourself, but you come and you get given something. It's like a gift back to you. The music, the dancing, and if you think that, you know, this production of, you know, in Swan Lake, you've got like sometimes 30, 40 people on stage, you're receiving all of the energy from these like 30, 40 dancers who dedicate their lives to this art form. And that is not something you're going to get through a 3-second Instagram reel. And I think this is something that I'm passionate about, like people really coming and investing their time and energy into something that's going to give back to them. That is everything that I'm about. So although I was a bit like, obviously, Timothy slipped up a little bit. I think it was great to bring awareness to like this subject, and actually sales actually increased after he said this, because it brought the attention, and it brought it, you know, I don't want to bring up, you know, Black Lives Matter, but that also was a movement of something not really awful happening, but it brought such attention to such an important subject.
Absolutely.
And the same thing happened here. Sometimes, like when a bad thing happens, something good can come of it. And I do feel like that was kind of a situation that happened here.
It wasn't entirely a misconception, indeed, and especially in this digital age, you know, what I personally find is quite concerning is that younger and younger kids are now being exposed to phones, iPads, etc. And, you know, it's really robbing younger generations from, you know, going to the theatre, going out. It's been shown up, I'm not quoting this directly, please don't come at me, but social media and constant scrolling is very addictive. And it can really create a much shorter attention span. And I'm sure many people in our audience will find that relatable. And as you've just said, people want a 3-second reel, not a 3-hour ballet. So it's definitely something that needs more awareness and needs to be brought to people's attention. And it's quite sad, because experiencing, like you say, experiencing a full ballet in a theatre is just exceptional. You've got that live music, you've got beautiful performing. It's a complete immersive experience, and you're fully absorbed, and it's a mental break, it's rejuvenation, and there's nothing nicer than having a nice meal and then sitting down to fully relax and enjoy, you know, this beautiful piece of art. True escapism, whatever you're going on in your life, you put it at the door and you're just completely immersed, you know?
It's beautiful. It's beautiful, the music, everything. And I think this is going a bit sidetracking now, but something I'm practicing, it's going to sound weird, I'm trying at least one part in my week to get to a state of boredom. I don't think we ever get bored these days.
It's true.
We're scared of getting bored.
We are.
And I used to fill up all my days. I'm like, oh, I'm never going to get bored. I don't like being bored. I'm quite a busybody person. So one of the things that I've been trying to get to is like, I want to get to a point where I actually feel like a little bit bored. This is once I reach that point, I'm like, okay, good. Now we can actually rest, because I've just let my brain get to a point where there's not 8 million different things going on in
Stimulating it.
And so I think, not that ballet's boring. That is not what I'm saying.
No.
What I'm saying is that ballet would actually be a really good thing for your brain, because you actually get this moment where you're just like, you know, the beginning, the overture is maybe, you know, 2-3 minutes long. You're just sitting there listening to music. It's pitch black, and it's like, you know, who needs one of those meditation apps when you can come to a ballet?
Absolutely, it is. It's true. We've established that ballet is good for brain health. And it's true. There's something really important you've said there about boredom. We do have shorter attention spans nowadays, and life has never been easier. You only have to click a button to get food delivered to your door. You know, we're not out hunting with our spears, you know, right? Hannah and I, what are we going to catch for dinner tonight, Hannah?
Should we go milk the cow? No.
Yeah, should go. Like, it's never been easier, and I think a huge part of brain health, mental health, is just settling it down.
It's too fast.
You know, everything's too fast, overstimulating, overwhelming. Just taking a second. It's difficult. So it's
important. It's important to have awareness of it. Have awareness of it, if nothing else.
Absolutely. Timothy Chalamet situation clearly shows that there is a disconnect. If major artists think that, you know, these spaces are dying completely. Of course, we've established there is truth to what he has said. But, you know, it's not dying. Ballet has survived centuries and it will continue to do so.
Here.
Exactly. So aside from the idea that audiences aren't interested and that no one cares, what do you think are the biggest misconceptions people hold about dancers themselves?
I think definitely what we talked about, like the glitz and glam of ballet. When I speak to like my friends who aren't dancers, they'll be like, oh my goodness, you're a professional ballerina. Like, wow, oh my goodness, like, I can't wait to tell everyone I know. And I'm like, oh, like this week I have literally had two nails fall off and I'm like dying. Like, it's so, like, that's the reality of it, you know? And it's like, I'm so grateful for my job. I'm so grateful I get to do this as a living. But at the same time, like, it comes at a huge cost. And whenever I talk to my friends, I don't always just like to sugarcoat it. Because I also think it's important for young girls who are thinking of coming into the industry to know, like, this is really a hard job to do and maintain. It's not something you just dream about, you get the job, and then it's like, it's dandelions and roses. It's like, no, once you get the job, it gets harder. Then the schedule gets more intense, there's more expected of you. And so I think it's something I try and, again, on my channel, through everything, show the real side of, like, it takes a toll on your mental and physical health, and the tiredness is, I think, the thing I struggle with the most, the fatigue. The element of, you know, in sport, for example, you can be on your on season, your off season. Whereas in ballet, we kind of have to be on our on season all year round. We have 5 weeks off in the summer. And then, you know, we've had our 5 weeks off and I was running signets yesterday. Like, you know, it's like you be back and you need to be ready to go and your body needs to be in shape. So I think that is something that is, you know, maybe the general population don't know about. It's like, oh wow, this is really, really, really hard. And I think something else I'd like to be more common is, like, dancers need to fuel. Like, we need to work as athletes, we need to fuel as athletes, and we actually probably need to eat more than the average person to be able to get through the average day of training. Because what we do is, like, you know, we're in the studio 8 hours a day sometimes, or we're doing double show days of Swan Lake. It's like a cardio nightmare, and you need to be replenishing those stores. So it's like, I think the thing I struggle with is, you know, you sit down for a meal and you're refueling, and someone might come across and be like, oh, that's a lot of food. Aren't you a ballet dancer? And it's like, yeah, I'm a ballet dancer. That's why I need the food.
That's
like,
why.
I'm like, you try and do 8 hours of cardio every day. You know what I mean? You
are not going to get through it if you don't fuel properly.
And you can get by for a while not fueling properly, but then when you look at a span of 10 careers, if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not gonna keep going.
And you've got to think about the cost of that. Because there are huge long-term physical and psychological costs of that. It's so important, and it's something that really cannot be emphasized enough.
And that's something I also talk about in my academy.
Of course. I mean, it's
I'm
paramount.
so passionate about it.
It's so important, and I think what you're doing on your academy is incredibly inspiring and helpful, and everyone should be. But more about that. So let's backtrack a little bit into your own history. You actually started pursuing a career in ballet at age 16, but didn't actually start vocational training at Elmhurst Ballet School until age 18, which is, you know, to become a professional dancer is incredibly late. How did you find that initial transition? Did you ever honestly think you'd end up a professional dancer? And what was the catalyst that made you decide to pursue this path and eventually audition for The Greatest Dancer?
Yeah, I think it was, I did my last competition as a rhythmic gymnast, I think it was November 2018. I'd just been to the World Championships. I actually won the English Championships at that point. And I spoke about this actually in a recent video about kind of that transition out and why it happened. But a lot of it was due to some family circumstances that were going on. I always kind of had ballet, I don't want to say it as the backup option, but that was kind of the vocational option. I'd always thought about it. And at 16, it really was like now or never. And I still look back and think that was still too late, but we somehow made it work. I think the transition initially was quite hard because I would come into every ballet class and they'd be like, oh, you're the gymnast. I'm like, not anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, you're the gym. I would lift my leg above 90 degrees. I had one teacher. I was in a ballet class and I lifted my leg just above 90 degrees and she was like, no gymnastics in my class, Hannah. And I'm like,
Oh,
babes,
no.
please don't discriminate against me. Yeah, but you know, I think I was a gymnast, but it was just difficult to kind of reshape my identity as a ballet dancer, and also my physique was more built for gymnastics, for big throws, and I'd built up quite a lot of arm strength at the time as well. And so it was like reshaping the way I trained, reshaping the way I thought about movements, finding new levels of coordination that I'd never experienced before. So I think it had, that transition was really difficult. More the identity shift from being like a competitive athlete to then being an artist. There is a slightly different approach that you take to your work, which we can get into another time.
Yes.
But yeah, and then the Greatest Dancer, honestly, was just an opportunity that came up. I speak all about it in another video, so do check out like the truth about achieving my dream career, that video. That's the one you want to check out.
We'll apply the link.
We'll put the link in the description.
It's my corporate side coming up. We shall apply.
We shall apply. See, look, there you go.
We'll put the links there.
We'll put the links there, exactly. But yeah, so the Greatest Dancer was an opportunity that came up and I jumped at it. Well, I actually didn't jump at it. I was like not sure about it, but then I went for it. And I think that's what I would say to a lot of young dancers. Like if you have opportunities that come up in your career when you're young, I would go for it, because then once you get over the age of like 22, there isn't actually as many opportunities to kind of go for. So it's when you're young, say yes to things, try things, discover things. You might find a stream of dance that you're like, oh, yeah, I love that. And you should kind of follow those instincts. Yeah.
So, knowing the immense sacrifices involved, do you ever regret making that choice? Do you ever regret choosing ballet?
I think everything that I've learnt from it, I feel like it's made me definitely the person that I am. That also sounds very cliche, but I think there are moments and there are days that I wake up and I'm so tired and everything aches and I'm like, oh, why am I doing this to myself? Oh. And then I also remember like the amazing experiences and having had the chance to travel all around the world and having the chance to share this journey with everyone. I'm like, oh no, there's purpose to this. There's like a reason why I'm doing this. And those moments have been so worth it. I think sometimes I don't want to say obsessed, I'm trying to get away from that word, but like how much I can put all of my self-worth into it. I'm trying to separate my self-worth from what I do, but naturally this happens. When I get to putting like, I am what I do at the forefront, that's when things, you start mentally going down a rabbit hole that's not good. Yeah. So I think always finding that separation is important. I don't regret the journey I've been on, but sometimes I'm frustrated that I'm not yet at the destination I want to be at. And I think that's something that if I could change things, I would have definitely not loved to have the surgeries that I've had. That is something I would have, I don't want to say it can't be a regret because it had to happen, it was out of my control. But if I could have gone through the journey without those surgeries, that would have been fantastic. But I think what I learned through those surgeries is actually what makes me who I am today. So like, I can't even regret that because I'm starting to realize more than the dancer you're becoming, the person you're becoming is so much more important, because the person you're becoming is who you're going to live with the rest of your life. The dancer you're becoming is only going to be with you till like 30, 35, 40, So I think when those two things come together in unison, that's when you hit the sweet spot. I'm still trying to find the sweet spot, but we're getting there.
We're always trying to find the sweet
spot,
aren't we?
Yeah.
But it's true, we wouldn't be the people who we are now if we hadn't experienced what we had. Yeah. I'm not saying that we wanted some of the experiences or that they were pleasant, but what's difficult, it helps us grow and it helps us come out the other side. And if you choose to look at it as a tool for growth, a lesson or something by which we can learn things from and, utilize to better ourselves. Yeah. That's really the way you have to go about it, because life, it really throws some round the corner when you least expect it. Yeah. And unfortunately, that is life. If you can't change something, change your attitude towards it.
Exactly, it's how you react.
Exactly. We know that this industry can be competitive, not necessarily intentionally. There are a lot of people having the same dream, having the same goals. From a director's standpoint, what are they actually looking for when casting a room, when choosing someone to join their company? And in an environment saturated with beautiful technique, artistry, raw talent, is talent actually enough to make it? And what separates a good dancer from an exceptional one?
I think this is so subjective. I think it will depend on every single director. And I know for me, with directors or choreographers that come in, like, you can take it so personally when they don't think that you're the bee's knees. Like, you know, everyone's going to have a preference. And like, one day one guy comes in and they think, oh, wow, you're everything. You're like perfect in my eyes. And the next day another person comes in, they're like, oh, she's just really average, you know? So like, I think not allowing your self-worth to be determined by another person's opinion, because it really depends who is in the front of the room. The beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
And, oh my goodness, Hannah, another high five, please.
There we go. Got some good taglines. But that's the honest truth, and I think that is something you have to learn as a dancer, that you're not going to be everyone's favorite.
No.
And something I'm trying this season is like, I've always tried to adapt my dancing to be what they wanted, and now I just want to dance the way I'm going to dance the way I want to dance, and then, you know, someone out there is going to love that. You know, someone is going to be like, that's my perfect dancer.
Yes.
You're not going to be everyone's perfect dancer.
No.
So dance the way that you feel it, dance the way that you want to, artistically express like what's on the inside. That's for me the most important thing. Embracing your individuality is what is so important, because there is so many dancers out there, technically absolutely incredible. Like, there's millions out there better than my technique. But it's really like, okay, what's my USP as a dancer? What makes me different? And I think that is something, because I've done a few business courses now myself, and they all talk about, what's your unfair advantage? What's your USP? What makes you different from everyone else? And for me, I realized all I ever used to think about was like, why I'm not good enough. My feet aren't as good as everyone else's. They're not as flexible. They're sickled. That, you know, I'm not as coordinated. Maybe I can't pick up choreography like everyone else. And then I was like, okay, what if we gave the same amount of energy and attention to things that were actually like sets us apart? Like, when I do a piece and feel the music, I feel it with every ounce of my being, and that's harder for some dancers. They don't manage to connect the same way to a storyline or act the same way. They're a bit more reserved, but that's something I really enjoy. I'm quite a good contemporary mover. Some classical dancers struggle more with that, but that's something I thrive in. You know, I love improvisation. Some dancers really struggle with that. So finding, okay, these are the things that make me different, and I'm going to push them to the forefront and not just focus on the things I need to improve. Obviously, we're working on them, but we're giving the same amount of energy to be like, actually, no, this is what makes me different. And I don't want to say better than anyone else. It just makes me unique, because you can't compare different talents to different talents, because, again, it depends who's in the front of the room, what they like. So,
wonderful. Yeah,
developing your USP is like essential as a dancer, I think.
It is essential. And ballet is subjective. It is art. It's not sport. It's not who ran the fastest is therefore the gold medalist. It really does depend on whether you're liked by someone.
A particular person,
But you shouldn't take that as a means to be like, I need to change who I am. I need to no. And it's the same in life. You have your friends, you have people who aren't so keen on you.
You don't click with.
You don't click with, and that's just natural. And it's really important for dancers to remember that it's not personal. Everyone has their preferences, just like you'll have your preferences. And it's all about, you have your place. It's just about finding that place.
Exactly.
So, Hannah, with that intense casting process, it comes with an inevitable amount of no's. So how do you personally deal with professional rejection without letting it dismantle your self-worth?
This is a difficult one. I think, again, you have to take time to process it. You can't, I think sometimes I've been like, well, I don't care. I'm like, no, Hannah, actually you do.
I'm fine,
yeah. definitely done that quite a bit. So I don't care. But then I'm like, no, Hannah, you do care. And the more we brush it under the carpet, eventually those don't cares add up, and then it just goes. So it's like acknowledging the disappointment first is the first and foremost thing that I try and do. Is like, okay, No, I'm really disappointed about that.
And that's okay.
And that's okay to be disappointed because I put a lot of work in. If I didn't put a lot of work in, I wouldn't be disappointed because it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
But I put my day in, day out, I put everything into this. So yeah, I am disappointed that this didn't work out, or this thing that a role I wanted to do, I wasn't cast for. Like, that does happen. I think after that, then you're like, okay, now this is where my psychology is slightly changing. Initially, I was like, okay, what can I do different? How can I change myself to get to that next level, and sometimes that's important. You do have to evaluate.
Yeah.
So I'll sit and I'll be like, do I need to change anything to be reaching the level that I want to get this role? Or is this something completely out of my control? And once I've ascertained that, maybe I'll make some changes to the way I'm training, or like maybe there's a particular technical thing I need to work on in order to be able to achieve what I want to achieve.
Yeah.
But now, more often than not, I'm like, we're on a good track. We just need to carry on. We don't need to upheave our lives and try and change who we are. We just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other. And like, the hard work will never go unrewarded, ultimately, is my belief. Like, even if it doesn't happen in the moment, even if it doesn't happen in a year, even if it doesn't happen in 2 years, hard work is going to come back to you.
Yes.
So like, just keep plugging in, keep putting good stuff out there. And it's, again, cliche, but just like, don't give up.
Yeah.
Don't give up on yourself. Even if other people give up on you, don't give up on yourself.
Yeah.
You have to believe in yourself to the very end.
Yes.
And good things will come of that.
Exactly.
Whether that's in the environment you're in now or in a different one, like, if you invest in yourself,
yes,
you are increasing the value of your product. If your product, you're making your product more valuable to take anywhere you want it to go, whether that's in the ballet world or outside the ballet world. If you're investing in yourself, it's never going to be a waste of time.
No. And all the skills that you learn from ballet are so transferable.
Rejection is part of life.
It is.
You're going to feel it everywhere.
Exactly.
It's humans, you know?
Yeah.
And so if you can learn to deal with rejection in this very intense environment where it's so obvious whether you've been picked or not, then when you go out into the I don't want to call it again the real world, or the normal world, is go out there, and the rejection sometimes isn't quite as obvious as maybe it would be in a casting situation. You're better able to know how to deal with it and move forward and use it as opportunity to grow, not to be squashed.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think a massive part of it is trying not to take things too personally. A lot of the time...
you don't know what's going on.
Exactly. You don't know what's going on. And a lot of the time, dancers, we like to mind read. So we like to guess what the person at the front of the room is saying, or, our opinions on how we dance, our strengths, our weaknesses. You're very vulnerable. You automatically assume that the people around you are seeing and thinking exactly the same as you do. Yeah. So a huge part of it is stop the mind reading. You don't know what they're thinking. You won't know what they're thinking. And it's out of your control. Yeah. And it's usually not personal. Yeah. They just have a preference, or it's rarely ever so bad as people think it is. If you could sit down with teenage Hannah, who is just about to embark on this professional ballet journey, what would you tell her? And what advice would you give to younger dancers out there who are perhaps navigating the exact same challenges you faced?
I think a little bit like what we just spoke about there, just like not take myself quite as seriously, because I'm a very serious personality. I'm very intentional personality, which is like, I think my greatest strength and a fatal flaw. Yeah. So it does get things done, but like I think enjoying the journey is such an important part of that process, because something I say on my academy is like, you're actually going to be on the journey a lot longer than you're going to be at the destination. Because once you reach the destination, you sit there for like maybe 5 minutes and you're like, okay, what's the next? Where are we going next? So it's like learning to enjoy the journey, because that's ultimately where you're going to be living most of your life. It's going to be on the journey, right? Yeah. So if we're not enjoying that, then what's the point of any of it? So it's like learning. I think I would be like, okay, chill out. Things will work out. Like, not the way that you thought they were going to, not like the perfect princess route, but like things will work out. Like, you just keep coming in with a positive mindset, with a like never give up attitude, and like the right things are going to come to you at the right time. Doesn't mean not work too hard, doesn't mean don't care, but just know and trust, like, show up, it's going to happen. You don't need to try and change yourself or transform yourself overnight. Like, just keep plugging away at what you're doing. Exactly. And good things will come.
Definitely. And also part of that is kind of letting go a little bit, you know, but letting go of that which does not serve you.
Yeah, it's like you're going up a mountain or something, you've got rocks in your backpack.
Exactly.
And you're like, oh, I must, you know, this is really hard. I'm going to just keep going. And it's like...
making it harder for yourself.
Just take 5 minutes, take the backpack off and take the rocks out and then start climbing, you know, it's like... Obviously, things aren't as easy as that.
No,
like, that is not as black and white as that. And
No.
we all carry insecurities with us.
We do.
But I think taking time to really, like, learn what those insecurities are, why you have them, and then trying to let go of some of them is really going to help you on your journey. Yeah,
absolutely. And can we just say this happens at every level, from student to quarter ballet to principal to staff, directors. It's a universal experience. We all deal with these things. So
you're not alone.
You're not alone. Exactly. Hannah, thank you so much. Just before we wrap up, we'd like to say that we both work in the ballet world, and we want to see the industry thrive. But most importantly, we want to see the dancers thrive. Hannah, you've got this incredible online academy, the Make It Happen Academy. Please, can you talk to us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it encompasses everything that we've just spoken about. I started developing this academy when I was injured and thinking, wow, like, this journey is so much more than what we just do in the studio. It's like such a mental, physical, there's so many more elements to it that don't get discussed in ballet school or in just general dance studios. I'm like, how can I create a platform that can actually support dancers and fill in those gaps and actually equip them mentally and physically for the industry? And that's kind of what I made the Make It Happen Academy for. And it's helping, you know, young dancers, elite performers to reach their best selves. But it's also helping, you know, adult dancers, people who have aspired to maybe go on this kind of career and get a taste of what it's like in the industry too. So I feel like we have such a broad community of people. So I don't want people just to think, oh, this isn't for me because I'm not an elite performer. I'm like, no, you can go on this journey, whatever stage, whatever age of life you're in.
Yeah.
And I think there's an injury mentoring course. We talked about the tolls of injuries on a dancer's career. And I've had dancers go through that course and be like, wow, that was like life-changing for me. Like to go through that, not just talking about the physical side, but the emotional side of how injuries affect you. So I highly recommend that course by Frances Collier. We have the nutrition and body confidence side, because I think if you're confident in your body, you can be, you know, you can present yourself way better as a dancer. So that is a course by Nicole Sabella. I went to New York and met her. It was an incredible experience to kind of go on that journey as well. Yeah. That is also like imperative for dancers.
It is, it really is.
You've got the flexibility side, which again, I actually don't, you think dancers stretch a lot. We don't actually, you know, in the actual ballet class, we don't stretch.
No, we don't.
Much. It's just all exercises. So flexibility is something that gets left off the list. I've actually had a lot of people, even in vocational schools, get in contact and be like, a lot of mums are like, my child doesn't get stretched and he says he's not flexible enough. Like, how do I help him? And this course, I mean, I don't want to toot my own trumpet. It's like, I've just heard that it's helped a lot of people kind of access their flexibility in ways that maybe a ballet school isn't supporting that at the moment. And then you've got the strength, because strength is so underrated, but it's so necessary as a dancer. So
for everyone as well. If your child's a dancer and you feel like, oh gosh, I'm not able really to keep myself as physically active and flexible as I'd like to be, this course is perfect for that.
100%. So you have, strength, flexibility, nutrition, body confidence, injury mentoring, and then the mindset course, which kind of wraps everything together.
And a supportive community as well, to keep you accountable, because that's what a lot of people look for. They look for that accountability, that support. I think a lot of us, have an idea of what we're supposed to do, maybe not the full picture, but a huge part of that is, that support and that
those people around you.
Exactly, to kind of boost you on that journey.
100%, and everyone on there is so lovely, and I give personal feedback to all my members on there. They post, they're like, I don't know how to do this or how to approach this movement, and it's just a really great way that we can connect and I can give personal feedback. We've actually now got discovery calls open, so if you guys want to learn more about the Academy, you're on the fence, you're not really sure, okay, what actually is it? How do I get involved? What's the next step?
How can it help me?
Exactly. We now have discovery calls available. So if you guys want to book a free discovery call with Ariana, The link is in the description. She will talk you through absolutely everything.
Yes.
When it comes to the Make It Happen Academy and how it could help you. We'll actually assess your situation if you kind of bring what your problems are, what you're trying to focus on, because we don't want you investing in something that's not going to serve you. Because in the end, if it's not going to serve you, it's not going to serve, it's, you know, this is something we want you to feel like you're benefiting from, that you're really going to that next level.
Definitely.
So jump on a discovery call and we can see if this would be a good route for you to go down.
Definitely. And, you know, just to add to that, we are genuinely invested in helping dancers reach their potential and ensuring that dancers have the capacity to be their happiest, healthiest and most successful selves. And that is what drives us in the work that we do. And so, you know, whatever you come to us with, we'll make sure that we are helping you.
Yeah, and pointing you in the right direction.
Exactly. Even if it's not the Make It Happen Academy. Exactly.
100%.
So, yeah.
So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's something a little bit different. If you want to see more content like this, please comment down below. If there's any particular subjects you'd like us to talk about, make sure that you let us know, because I love hearing all of your thoughts. And although I don't always have time to respond to all my comments, I do read them. So please, please let me know your thoughts down below, and we'll see you very soon in the next video. Thank you so much, Ariana.
Thank you so much, Hannah.
Pleasure. Of course. Oh my goodness, guys. See you soon. And remember, dream big and make it happen.
And like, comment and subscribe.
Great. Okay.
I had to throw it in there for my first YouTube video.
There you go, well done. Oh, we did it. How long? Oh my days, it's an hour and 15 minutes. Oh, sorry, Colton.